Here we are with none other than Rocky Fielding. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, Paul. I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Where are you at the moment? Which country?
I'm here now. I'm in Liverpool. I'm here. I'm back home. Back here.
Good stuff. Right, you decided to have the hotter weather in the UK compared to Dubai, then?
Yeah. Last week I had 2 days of it being hot, wasn't it? And see, the internet nearly broke because the weather was bad and the weather was hot. But I've been quite used to it, so it wasn't too bad.
Good stuff. Are you actually living in Dubai now? Are you kind of splitting your time between the both?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, with the weather being hot and obviously too hot out there through the summer, then I came back here see family and stuff and that, and I don't know what's happening at the minute. I'm just I don't know. My kids are liking it here, back here as well, and we have the family. You got cousins here and stuff like that. So I'm in two man. Well, I've already decided over the summer what I'm going to do.
Yeah, understandably. Well, how's this for a blast from the past? You had your pro debut in 2010, and it's 11 years ago since you won the super middleweight prize fighter contest with 3 straight stoppages. 11 years ago. How old does that make you feel?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Oh no, that's flew over that. Bloody hell. And then no one still stopped all 3 as well since it, I think, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, they should have doubled your money, mate. You should have renegotiated that one, you know.
But that's it. Well, when Eddie started putting bonuses for stoppages, I sent him a message and was like, "You owe me a bit extra here." But another thing with it as well is, I looked at, like, I've beat everyone. I've beat all 3 in the prize fighter, and then I've beat. Don't think anyone's done it as well. I've beat opponents after that as well. That were in prize fighter. It's only Robin Reed and Jermaine Smile that I never fought, but I beat Carl Dilks, who was in it for the English title. I beat Wayne Reed for the English title, who was in it. And obviously the team prize fighter, and then he was Robin Reed and Jermaine Smile thing that they haven't obviously fought, and otherwise it would have completed the old prize fighter.
Yeah, well, not a lot of people know about your amateur pedigree as well, and you know I've been lucky that I remember when I wrote Martin Murray's book, we had a good chat about your amateur career, and remember Martin at the time saying, you know, Rocky really bangs. He's got serious power in his hands. I remember Jamie saying afterwards, you know, he started training in the pros, so he's got serious dynamite in there. And he says, you know, don't ever underestimate it. But tell us quickly about your amateur career.
Amateur, yeah. Well, amateur career was good. Amateur. I won junior ABAs and 4 nations, and was on a GB setup for a bit. But I think. No, it was like if your face fits on the GB kind of stuff. If you, I think it was like all the Cockney coaches, liked all the Cockney fighters. So I had 70 amateur fights. I think 150. Boxed started off in the Stockbridge, where I'm from, Canny Farm. Started off there, like with Bellevue, and that Bellevue started there when I was there. And I think just to progress my career better, I ended up making a trip to the Salisbury ABC gym. Then I had to get 2 buses there on my own, 5 years, and then because the talent there was good for sparring, so I went down there to better myself, and I done good there. And then when I got there, all the good ones turned pro, and I went, right, I need to better myself again. So I ended up going down to the Thunder ABC and finishing off there with like Bellevue and the lads down there, and done well fighting out of there. So it was been around a couple of clubs, but it was only to better myself and better my career. And you know, as being the juniors, ABAs, senior ABAs, finals and a couple of quarter-finals where I've lost to the same kid twice in the quarters, but both times it was up in Newcastle, and that's where he was from. And then it got to a point where like there was a kid who was number one, Obed, can't think of his second name. He was on the number one GB, so I just said, look, can I fight him on a neutral club show? And if I win, I'm number one, and if he wins, he stays on the GB. And it never happened. He was getting paid, and he didn't want to lose his spot and stuff like that. So I just turned professional after the ABAs. Within 10 months, I was straight down to Oliver's gym, turned pro, and got the pro ball rolling. I didn't really want to be one of them where I've had an amateur career and I want to sit out for a year or 2 years, 3 years, then go, I want to be a pro now. I just wanted to keep the momentum going and roll right into it. And within 10 months, I had me pro debut, and then obviously the prize fight not so long after that, and then everything just kicked off really. So it hasn't been too bad. Amateur career. I've travelled most of that, you know, around the world fighting and stuff like that, and all around the country, and you know, met great people. So yeah, it was a good. I was happy with it. You know what I mean? From you know, kind of like probably the achievement to play football first, and I went over to boxing just to keep fit, and I enjoyed it. And then you know, I ended up, you know, winning the junior ABA title twice, as I say, 4 nations, and you know, didn't make Olympics or Commonwealth, nothing like that, but I still achieved what, you know, what I could in a way.
Yeah, we're going to come on to your achievements as a professional, which were unbelievably impressive. But I'm going to just flip back a little bit here. So 2 things. Firstly, how good were the Lionesses last night?
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great that I was watching it, and then my little boy was sitting by me and my little girl, and I was like, look, this could be you soon, Romy. This could be you. I want to see you. And then I said to my little boy, saying, you could be playing at Wembley soon. That's what I want. And I was like, look how good it is. These now I've just won the he doesn't understand this. So what he knows is the Super League. So Super League finals or Super League champions. I went, these are the Super League champions now. And yeah, it was great. Obviously, after all the last couple of years of all crap what's been going on, and then obviously England have pulled, you know, the women have pulled it through. So yeah, it was a good watch.
Brilliant. Yeah, just remember the winning goal was scored by a former QPR player, you know, my home team. So
yeah.
just remember that one. On the boxing front, there was some great boxing at the weekend. Did you see the Isaac Chamberlain against Chris William-Smith fight?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, that was a great fight. Yeah, I've seen this, like the commentary and like the scorecards, like were favouring William-Smith, but in the middle round, I thought he took us forth the gas a bit, and Chamberlain came on and had him on the back foot, and I thought it was a close fight, and you know, Chamberlain done really good, and he started quick, William-Smith, and put the pressure on, and then he come back on him, and then late round, and that was a good cruiserweight fight that like we've been missing for a while, and on that division. So apart from when Usyk fights, but that was a great fight.
Yeah, definitely. I think you should be doing the commentary yourself there, Rock. You summed that up perfectly. It would have been good to have had you on the mic, and you certainly wouldn't have been giving any bias to anyone there. So hopefully, whoever's listening to this, i.e., whoever can sort you out there. Now, coming back to yourself, English, Commonwealth, WBC International, British super middleweight titles. Before you went for the world title, you only lost once against Callum Smith, who, you know, it needs no introduction in terms of what he went on to amass. Now, you went into the fight against Tyrone Zuga, a massive underdog, and you've gone out to his backyard. And my understanding was, you know, the money was good, but it wasn't phenomenal. But I remember when I interviewed you straight after the fight, and you told me that if they'd have said to you, Rock, is €50 and a plane ticket, you'd have still gone and done it.
No, definitely, because I was at a point in my career, I was going to pack in. The World Series happened, and I woke up at one morning and looked on Twitter, and then it was like this big World Series and all super middleweights, and I'm like, I'm British champion, and I haven't had a phone call, and I got Jamie Cox, who's just moved up to Chris Eubank, who's just moved up to it, and obviously George Groves and Callum were obviously understandable, and I was just like, I'm British champion here, and like my phone hasn't even rang, and like, so to put a bit of a downer on me, so I said, I fought David Brophy for the British and Commonwealth, and I said, if I have a scrappy fight with Brophy, then I can't say nothing to Eddie. I can't but if I beat him well, then I want a good fight after it, and that was on my mind. And I went in there and stopped him in the first round, which I knew I would because I sparred Brophy 4 weeks before, helped him out for the Commonwealth title, and then when he said he accepted to fight me, I was thinking, bloody hell, I've sparred him a couple of weeks back and I was playing with him kind of thing, so I knew the performance would have been there. It was first one with Jamie as well, I think, first fight with Jamie, so I wanted to impress and wanted everything to go well, and so I did it off the ring, and I said, look, I want to fight, Eddie, you've had all the World Series, you've left me, he went, okay, you can fight Scotland on the Bellew and David Hay card in December, so I was like, right, that's it, that's good then. And then obviously I went to watch Frampton fight in Belfast in November, and then after the fight, seeing Coogan, he said David Hayes pulled out, and I was like, no, he hasn't. No one said. And he went, you'll find out on Monday, and I was like, oh, you're kidding me, yeah. And then the Monday came, David Hayes pulled out, so I kept on training, I kept on saying, but I had holiday booked, first little boy's holiday booked to Mexico for Christmas. So we went there. I had to train every day because I got told February for the Scotland fights in Yeko. So I trained all over. I got back. Scotland had an injury when he was sparring, so that got thingy out. And then January, February, March, April, I'm in the gym every day. May, I went to Tenerife with the lads on a camp. They all had fights. They all had fight dates. Matt was supposed to fight Billy Joe at the time, Frampton. But every day from the January onwards, I was driving the gym to Jamie's, and I'm driving down that M62, and I'm just like, what's going on? I've had no phone call. And then when I'm in the gym, I'm happy because your training, your mind's elsewhere. And then when I'm driving back home, I'm like, checking the phone, no, still no call. February, March, all the same thing. And I say, Jamie's like, what's happening here? I've got my little boy in nursery that I'm not seeing, taking him. I'm not picking him up because I'm in the gym twice, 3 times a day. I've left my girl who's pregnant. I'm in Tenerife, running up a mountain, and I haven't got a fight. I said, I'm going to have to give it another month or two, and I'm going to, pack in. Not that it was I needed to go and look for work. It was just my mum. It was just training. I'm up and down the motorway, up and down Jamie, training. As I say, run up a mountain, up Mount Teedy, and then I'm looking at the end of it. I'm going, usually I've got fight dates coming up, and I'm here, and I was like, I can't keep on happening. So I was just about to call it a day in a way, and then the phone rang, and obviously it was, do you want to fight Zeuger in Germany? I went, yeah, of course, obviously, yeah. I went, when is it? He went 5 weeks, and I was like, yeah, 100%. So I think all that, in the past couple of months, I've gone to pack in and gone to Tingyo, and I stuck at it, and I had good people around, and Jamie was like, look, listen, something will come, stay positive, something will come. I'm going, Jay, it's 4 months, 3 months, it's 4 months, 5 months, you know what I mean? Come on, he's like, listen, just stick at it, something will come. And then obviously that phone call came, and then I'd been to Germany watching Martin a couple of times, Martin Murray a few times, and I had this feeling when I was there. I went to watch Darren Barker fight there against him. I even went to that fight, and I just had this feeling about Germany. I was just like, I'll fight here. I just had this crazy feeling. And then when Martin boxed Abraham, I was up on the ring. When he come over shaking the corner's hand, I was thinking, look at the size thinking, I'd beat you. I'd come here and fight you and beat you. I just had this feeling. And then, as I say, and then when I went to Germany, my little boy was only 18 months old. And when I left, it was me and my girl and my little boy. And we went to the airport, and as I'm waving by, I had hold of him. He just gave me this hug. He was only 18 months old. I didn't know where I was going or knew anything about it. He just gave me this big hug that was like, "Don't leave me." And I'm like, "Wow, this is weird." I said, "But look, I'm going to get you a prize, and I'll be back with a prize, okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then once I said that, I could not leave Germany without the prize. I even brought Zoiger's belt back, what I was supposed to give back to him after the fight. He said, "Give the belt back, get pictures, then give the belt back, and we'll send you one out." Wow. And I was like, I can't, no chance. So I covered my coat over the bag, over the briefcase, and we sneaked out the bag and went and kept the belt. And then when I went and fought, obviously in New York, it's all got scuffs all over it. I said, "Oh, marks off again." I said, "I don't care. I'm taking this belt back home with me boy." I said, "I don't care if you got a brand new one for me. I'm keeping this belt, and I've still got it now. I haven't got a new one."
Wow, that is phenomenal. A lot of people don't realise that the how intense those last 5 weeks were as well, because Germany was roasting at the time, and I remember you saying that Jamie turned on like the heating in the hotel for you got there a few days early and had the heating on at about 35 degrees. So when you got out there was no difference. But did you said when you were in the ring and you were in Germany, you had this sort of feeling about, you know, if you were out there and that. Did you ever visualize that you were going to stop Zuga? I mean, you know, he was a tough fighter, and you, like I said, you were going in as the underdog, and you did it in devastating fashion.
Yeah, I had a couple of weeks of the training, and I watched Zuga against Paul Smith, and I watched that live, like obviously on the telly, and I'd done it, and there's even a shot where Zuga caught me, and I just went and shook my head and just smiled at him. I was like, and then that's when I hit into the body and stopped him. I just had everything that week with Jamie. We went over the week before, and it was just quiet, the quietest place you could ever be. And I visualized everything. And Jamie always bangs on about visualizing and all the secret stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll look into this. And I did. And because I seen an interview with Paul Smith, and he said, and I've been there with Martin Murray as well. And he went, "Oh, how Rocky handled it when you've got to go through a shopping centre, and you've got to do a public workout, and you've got to go to a weigh-in where you've got to go to a car showroom." And I've been there, and I knew, so I prepared all that when I come. Then when I got picked up off the guy, me and Jamie, I said, "Where's the public workout?" He went, "There isn't one." So I went, "Sad, like, there's that." I went, "And where's the weigh-in?" He went, it's in a winery, so a wine tasting venue." So I was like, "Oh, that's even better, because I've got 300 scouts coming over to the weigh-in." And they all made a lot of noise on the free wine tasting, and ended up in a wine place buying bottles of wine and drinking. So everything that I'd visualised, obviously, what could happen, never, which was good for me. And it was good anyway for me, because I was like, well, I visualised all this big thing, and all the energy that you've got to go on public workouts and put all the energy in and all the wrapping up and all. I didn't have to do it. So it was more time saved. I had my nutritionist with me, my weight was sprung on. As I said, I went to run up Mount Sidi for the altitude saving. So when I got to Germany and we had the weather, it was hot, 34 degrees and all stuff. We had all that programmed in from the months before in Tenerife. So everything went perfect. I just had these shots. That means Jamie drilled over for the 4 weeks that we were at the camp. Just drilled two to the head, one to the body, two to the head, one to the body. He said, "Break it down. As the rounds go on, you'll start breaking them down. I know you'll get to." And I did. And any shots that he was throwing, I just had no feeling. I just could not leave. I could not leave this Germany without, because I've got my little boy, and I always I won the British title, and then I brought the title back home for him when he was only a couple of months old. So I had them things in my head. So I had to bring it home. I had to do it. Plus, it was are you going to bring it home? Is Rocky going to bring it home? And I was like, definitely going to bring it home. And then England lost, and then I brought it home, so it was like a good thing. It's a good away tip for all the fans and stuff like that. So it was something that I don't know that's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and the new. I'm just going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a couple of very quick questions. You're in with a very colourful stable of fighters. You've got Jamie Moore, you've got Nigel Travis, Jack Catterall, Chantel Cameron, etc. Who's the laziest in the gym?
The laziest, Mark Leach.
Who's the messiest?
He's the which?
Who's the messiest?
Messiest. The messiest. I don't know. A while back was Frampton. Carl Frampton was the messiest a while, like when he was obviously in camp. But I don't know anyone now. Tommy Coyle as well. When they were there, but I think everyone's not too messy now. Probably me, to be honest. Probably me at the minute.
And who's the biggest joker in the camp?
So Tommy. Well, yeah, but Tommy wasn't he? Tommy Coyle was the biggest one. He couldn't. He didn't come down often because obviously from Hull, but when he come down, I could not relax seeing him when he come in because you do something to your bag, you do something to your gloves, you do something to your card. He was like, he just couldn't relax. So it'd be definitely him. And then Flap still could have a little mess around as well.
Now, very final question, Mr. Rocky Fielding. If you could spar 3 rounds with any past boxing legend, who would it be?
Who would it be? I'd say Bernard Hopkins,
Roy Jones, superb. And if you had to sort of say where ideally you'd like to be going with the balance of your career now, where would it be?
I just want to get back out. You know, the next couple of months. I'm just waiting on a phone call now. I say the time that I've had like had out. A lot of kids have been waking up on Twitter. A lot of kids and in social interviews being calling me out. There's about five fights that have been calling me out. So the last couple of weeks I've just been going back to them all, and you know I'm number 5 now with the WBA, and John Ryder's like number 2. So that could be a fight for the final eliminator. This Richards kid was calling me out, and you know I sent Eddie a message to the day and said, well, you want to make the match, then give me a call. And he read it but never got me back. So I've had a few that have been calling me name in interviews and on social, but no one's rang my phone. So I'm hoping that should be used a couple of weeks, but hopefully I can get a big fight and that, you know, can lead on to another shot of a title, or you know, just some big names, some big fights out there. And you know, as it stands now, like you got Callum's light heavyweight, Billy Joe is out at the minute, and then I've beat John Ryder before, so as a British scene, he's a good, you know, these fighters there, but even America, these good names, but you know, I'm just waiting for them to give me a call, because you know, I say they've been in social stuff and interviews, and as I say, no one's been done. So hopefully from this now they might start getting on the phone and ringing me.
No, so you've had you know, 3 stoppages on the bounce here, and you know, I think Hassing Rackman Jr. has pulled out of his fight. So let's tap up Jake Paul for a bit of publicity here as well, and see if he fancies getting in with a real fighter. You know, so
I woke up to the morning seeing that, and I was like, sorry, just messing now, saying I've been out to the gym for a couple of weeks, but I'll fly over next week and give a fight. Yeah, no problem, but I'll give it a miss. Give it a lad's a bit of a Jake Paul fan. all this YouTube stuff and things like that. He's like, Jake Paul. I know Jake Paul. He's a fighter. I'm like, oh, is he? Yeah, well, yeah. What about me?
Well, listen, mate, whatever the future holds, I wish you the very best success. Thank you to you. Thank you for your family for allowing this opportunity there as well. I look forward to seeing you out soon again. You take care, Rock. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, thanks for contacting me. Probably the only one I've contacted in the last couple of months, so yeah, nice one.
Nice one, Rock. Speak to you soon, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.
Nice one. Bye.